Whether you're ready to eat, pray, love, meet a few monkeys, or just lay around on a hot beach, there's something for everyone here in Bali. Stick around while I show you the 5-star resort we stayed at in Nusa Dua Beach and some of the sights, tastes, and experiences on day trips to Ubud, water temples, waterfalls, and more. We stayed at the Laguna Resort and Spa in Nusa Dua, down at the tip of the island of Bali. The resort was absolutely beautiful. Had several lagoon-style pools, including a saltwater pool with real sand in it. The beaches were pristinely clean, and the service was impeccable. Everyone was super friendly. The room was really comfortable and had everything you could ask for, including a private balcony looking out over one of the many pristinely manicured gardens on the resort. I mean, just look at the grounds around here. They are so well manicured, and you have wild birds, all kinds of wildlife running around on the resort. You have these statues, traditional Balinese statues, and you have water features all over, including this little river that runs through the resort, and enchanting landscaping all around. It makes you feel like you're really soaking up the beauty of Bali even when you're at the resort. So I can't recommend it enough. Admittedly, this is not the most budget-friendly place to stay in Bali. It is a higher-end hotel. We normally would have opted for a much more affordable place, such as a nice Airbnb with a private pool you can rent here for less than $50 a night. Super affordable. I was just taking advantage of my husband's work trip as a tag-along. He worked all day and I had amazing adventures. We invested in the all-inclusive breakfast option here, and it was by far some of the best food I had on the trip. There were plenty of local dishes offered, but also a wide variety of international delicacies as well. One trip to this buffet and you'll likely be full until dinner. Just don't be surprised as I was if some of the local guineas join you for breakfast. Hey, the birds gotta eat too, right? My first day trip was a local one to get some food at a restaurant outside of the resort and to visit the Bajra Sandi Monument in Denpasar. I asked the driver to stop at a local restaurant where I ordered a noodle peanut dish. It had some dried rice crackers on it, topped with an egg, and a nice cold local beer. It was super delicious. After lunch, I got in with my private driver that I hired on the Grab app for only $60 for the entire day, and he took me over to the Bajra Sandi Monument. This is such an amazingly beautiful structure. You think you rolled up on this ancient discovery. However, the monument was only built in 1987. This impressive structure was built to represent the struggle of the Balinese people, namely with the invasion of the Dutch in the early 1900s, where over 1,000 Balinese people, many of them innocent civilians, were killed. There are 3 main parts of this monument. There's the outer courtyard, the inner courtyard, and the main building. For some reason, when I showed up, I was the only one there. I didn't find it to be very well marked, but eventually made it to the ticket office where I purchased a ticket for just a few dollars and proceeded to give myself a tour of the gardens and the building. I will say the ornate architecture, the serene gardens, the breathtaking views of the city are definitely worth the visit. I don't know if it's just me, but anytime I see a staircase that goes up like that, I feel the need to climb it. Let's see what's up there. Well, you won't be disappointed, even though you will be dripping with sweat for sure. When you reach the top of this tower, you can look out. There are 360 views of the whole city, and it's pretty spectacular. The design in here is really cool as well. Really ornate. Everything about this has detail beyond what I could ever imagine creating. It's just beautiful. On the second floor of the building, there are several dioramas, very intricately designed, playing out the history of the Balinese people. Definitely worth the visit. On another day, I used the Grab app again to rent the driver for the entire day to take me up to Ubud and several must-sees along the way. The Tegalalang rice field, the Pura Turta Impul water temple, and some really cool waterfall that I will not even attempt to pronounce the name of, for both our sakes. So needless to say, this was a very busy day, but it was really doable and I got to see a lot of amazing places. Ubud is a city that's known for great art and culture. It's dotted with beautiful temples and seemingly never-ending shops where you can buy local arts and clothing, and tons of souvenirs. The sights of hundreds of culturally diverse tourists, the sounds of laughter and negotiation, and the smells of fresh burning incense make walking through the markets a worthwhile experience, even if you're like me and you would rather do almost anything other than shop. A lot of people would say that if you are going to stay one time in Bali, visit one time, that you should stay here in Ubud, and I can see why. There's so much to do and it's convenient for everything. I would also recommend visiting the Enchanted Monkey Forest, which I did not have time to visit, but sounds pretty cool, although you might get your wallet stolen. My next stop was at a rice field just outside of Ubud. This was my first time visiting a rice terrace. It truly was breathtaking. I spent about an hour here just hiking around and taking photos, and of course I had to take advantage of the infamous swing. I was literally dripping sweat walking around here, so be sure to stay hydrated. The stairs are steep and uneven, so I would not recommend hiking here if there are any mobility concerns for anyone in your group. However, there are cafes and sitting areas at the top where anyone could enjoy the views and a hot or cold beverage. And of course, as any good traveler knows, always wear comfortable shoes. After soaking up the sights and the sun at the rice terrace, I headed up to Pura Turta Impul. It's a water temple outside of Ubud. This is a holy water temple that is over 1,000 years old, and you can visit for a small fee of about $3 American, which will get you a rented sarong needed to enter the temple respectfully. If you want to enter the water and get the full experience, make sure you bring a change of clothes. All the ornate architecture and rich history, enormous trees here, and all of the statues give you a peaceful, almost magic feeling. Don't be alarmed when you see this swastika-looking symbol in Bali. This is actually a symbol that's thousands of years older than the Nazi regime and symbolizes good fortune and protection to the Balinese Hindu people. So the last stop of the day, I had to visit one of the famous waterfalls near here. You can drive in and park at the top of this waterfall and then hike into a somewhat steep path to the base of the waterfall, and then you can go swimming for the afternoon. If you don't want to hike to the bottom of the waterfall because it's like 1,000 degrees and the humidity is crazy, there are restaurants along the path where you can stop and enjoy a nice mango salad with cold beer, take in the sights. Overall, an incredible day full of adventure and beauty. The last stop on the trip was to the Uluwatu Temple. This is definitely a must-see. The sights are so incredible from up here, and you have to watch the traditional Kazakh fire dance. It's a very traditional Balinese dance, and it is really, really worth it. There are tons of monkeys around the temple, so just a fair warning to keep all your belongings really well secured or just bring very little with you. Bali did not disappoint. It is far, it is hot, but it is worth it. Now get up and go.